Alrighty guys, so just wanted to show you how bad the trailer feet have sunk with all the water we've been getting. It's a little ridiculous actually. So if you look, I don't know if it'll show up ground level, but couple 3-4 inches it's sunk. You can definitely see it here, prominent. Oh yeah. So what happened was, when I was over at my other property that I was renting in the city, I bought a bunch of lumber for the skirting for the tiny house here. So I did buy this post, and when I got kicked off the property by somebody complaining at the city, I had to strip everything and bring everything with me. So now that I have this post, I already talked to the landlord. He's fine with everything. He's gonna back a truck up here, transport. He's gonna jack up the legs fully, and then he's just gonna kick over my posts so the feet go on top of the posts, obviously above ground, and then that shouldn't sink as much as just having the full force on one area and another area. That way it kind of spreads out the footprint of the weight of the trailer. And I especially need it because I loaded the front storage area up with crap. You saw all my storage in there now, and once I get the batteries in at the front here, the front is going to be super heavy, guys. So if I look this way, you guys can definitely see how much it's sunk. And why is that an issue? Well, my rain gutters up here need gravity assist for the water to flow back towards the IBC totes. And now the nice thing is, guys, when he puts the legs up on top of that post, that means I can come along and crank the handle up anytime I want. I'll show you the handle. I can crank this handle up anytime I want, and it will extend either up or lower or raise the front of the trailer while it's on this piece of post. So that's pretty decent. And it looks like I'm due for another paint job down here so I don't rust away. But yeah, everything seems to be okay. I'll show you the drain for the first flush system, because I've had a lot of people ask about, hey, what's going on? Remember what I just changed inside? This is that same tube. So you can see I've had a lot of water flow through here. And you can see I got kind of a trap full of scum right here, because it's kind of like a low spot, and then it goes down and to the ground. Later on, I could always tie this into a garden or something if I had my own property, which would be wonderful, but I don't. Now, one thing I gotta say, guys, is ever since I put the gutter system up, it is keeping this south side of the tiny house nice and dry all the way down. So it's getting full capture. The only problem is it's not all flowing through there quick enough for the first flush system to process it. But as you've seen, when I changed out that that bigger hole, that gasket, to a tiny hole, I may have solved the issue there. But of course, I need to have the front of the tiny house raised up properly, because it's right now it's lower than the back side. And eventually, when I'm capturing the right amount of water in the IBC tote, which is right behind this wall, once that tote is starting to fill up and get heavy, that means more pressure will be put on this end of the trailer, and it'll kind of jack up the front a little bit too. So as long as I'm keeping a full tank in here, it'll be cool. Now I'll show you the turbine. We got a flashing red light, which means I need to reset it indoors. You see it there. All I gotta do is flip that switch. This actually self resets too if I don't do anything. I've experimented, which is kind of neat. And then I got my rain hood for the tanks, which is cool. And make sure everything's off. And one thing I got to do, guys, when I get some decent weather and some time, kind of busy with work, I need to rip off the vent system for the propane stove. I need to take that off, then I can pull the inside parts into the tiny house, figure out what is blocking my combustion air or exhaust air, fix that, put it back together, and should be good to go. And the other thing I need to do, this thing is on a massive lean, as you can tell. See that nasty? And there's a lot of pressure on the T right here. It's been like that for months now, guys. Now, what I want to do is see this piece. I've explained this before on camera, I think. See this horizontal piece coming out that connects to the T? I need a shorter one. What will a shorter one do for me? I need about a foot long piece. It'll allow me to bring the T in nice and tight to the tiny house where I can properly use the brackets so it's vertically straight and not looking like hell like it is in here. And I also have to add a handle to the bottom of this cap so I can easily pull it off for cleaning the chimney out. But I gotta save up some cash, get that done, and go from there. But other than that, things are good. Now, one thing I want to do is go like this, because I want to loosen the ground off, because when he attaches to the transport trailer, there's going to be a little bit of movement back and forth, forward and back. So I want to have, since that's staked in the ground, I want to keep that loose so he has some movement with the trailer. And yeah, so I'm just waiting on the landlord to do his thing. I did my part inside with the grommet, but other than that, we're good. So yeah, I better go inside, reset this thing. I have the entertainment system going, so turbine has come on to give the battery some power, obviously. So I better go in there and see what's going on. Let's take a deep look.
Meaning that
see what voltage we're at. 13. Okay. I'm gonna go reset it in here.